Breaking news, you won't believe what just went down. Jim John's own son has officially disowned him, threw him out like he was a stranger. But hold on, the reason Pure Chaos sources are saying Jim did the unthinkable. He allegedly laid hands on Chrissy, and what happened next? Let's just say it wasn't pretty. Chrissy didn't just sit there and take it. Oh no, she snapped, and before Jim could even process what hit him, his own flesh, and turned against him. And here's where it gets even crazier. Some whispers in the streets are saying this wasn't just a heat of the moment fight, this was planned. That's right, there are rumors floating around that Jim's son had been waiting for a reason to kick his dad out. But why? Was there a secret betrayal, a hidden agenda, or is there something even darker lurking behind the scenes? This is not just family drama, this is a full-blown betrayal, and trust me, by the time you hear what really went down, you'll never look at Jim Jones the same way again. Stay tuned, because this gets messy. All right, hold on to your seats, because this isn't just another rapper drama. This is straight-up reality TV on steroids. Jim Jones, rapper, reality TV star, and self-proclaimed Harlem legend, has officially hit rock bottom. And no, we're not talking about album sales, though let's be honest, those aren't exactly skyrocketing either. We're talking about a full-blown real-life domestic disaster that unfolded faster than Jim's career after 2010. So what exactly went down? Well, let's rewind a bit, because to fully understand this nuclear meltdown, you got to know the history. Jim Jones and Chrissy, a love story built on red flags. For those of you who need a refresher, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampin have been together for over 2 decades, which in rap for years is basically a lifetime sentence. These two have been through it all: cheating, rumors, explosive fights, awkward reality TV proposals, and yet somehow they stayed together. Chrissy even proposed to Jim first, because apparently waiting for him to man up was taking too damn long. And what did Jim do? Oh, he hesitated. The man fumbled harder than a SoundCloud rapper's first live performance. Fast forward a few years, and things still weren't looking great. Jim refused to commit. Chrissy started getting real fed up, and fans, they were just sitting back, eating popcorn, waiting for the inevitable disaster. And boy, did that disaster finally arrive the night everything went to hell. Picture this. It's late at night. Chrissy and Jim are in their house because, yeah, despite all their issues, they still live together. A little toxic, maybe a lot of drama. Absolutely. Now, no one knows exactly what sparked the argument, but according to our sources, and by sources we mean people on the internet who love to speculate, it had something to do with money, cheating, and Jim's inability to act like a grown man. Chrissy was going off, and rightfully so. She spent years riding for this man, defending him, staying by his side, even when he acted like he didn't know how to spell loyalty. And Jim, instead of apologizing, explaining, or acting like an adult, he snapped, and not just in a storm out, and slammed the door away. No, Jim took it way too far. He slapped Chrissy. Yes, you heard that right. Jim Jones, the same guy who swears up and down that he's all about love and respect, put his hands on Chrissy in his own house in front of witnesses. And guess who was standing right there when it happened? His son. The moment Jim Jones realized he messed up. Now, if Jim thought he could just walk away after that, he was dead wrong, because the moment his hand connected with Chrissy's face, the room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Even the furniture was like, bro, what did you just do? And Jim's son, he saw everything, and let me tell you something, he was not about to let this slide. Jim barely had a second to react before his own flesh and stepped in his son, who, let's be honest, has probably had enough of his dad's nonsense over the years, was not playing around. He squared up, looked his father dead in the eye, and said, no, you're not about to do this. And then bam, Jim Jones just caught hands. Yep, his own son threw the first punch. Now, was it a fair fight? Absolutely not, because Jim, despite all his bravado, was not ready for this level of instant karma. His son, who by the way is younger, faster, and probably goes to the gym more than his dad, gave Jim a reality check so hard he probably started seeing the credits roll on his own life. Punches or thrown furniture got knocked over. At one point, Chrissy literally had to step back because things got so wild. And in the middle of all this, Jim finally realized he messed up. The shocking twist: Jim Jones gets kicked out of his own house But wait, because it gets even worse for Jim. After getting absolutely wrecked by his own son, he tried to play it off like nothing happened. "Y'all need to chill," he said, wiping his busted lip. But his son, he wasn't done, because after all the BS, all the disrespect, and now this, there was only one thing left to do. You need to leave. That's right, Jim Jones, rapper, reality TV star, supposed boss, just got evicted from his own house. His son literally pointed to the door and said, "You're not welcome here." And Chrissy, she didn't say a word. She just crossed her arms and nodded. And that was it. Jim, still stunned from everything that had just happened, had no choice but to grab his stuff and go. And just like that, he was out. But the question is, where did he go? And how did the internet react to this absolute circus of a scandal? Oh, trust me, y'all are not ready for the fallout. So Jim Jones got kicked out of his own house by his own son after slapping Chrissy. A wild, unexpected, completely self-inflicted downfall. But if you thought the drama ended there, oh no, this was just getting started, because in 2025, getting exposed in your own home is one thing, but getting exposed on the internet, that's a whole different level of destruction. And when I tell you that social media did not hold back, I mean they went in on Jim like he was the final boss of bad decisions. Jim Jones versus the internet, a humiliating knockout. The moment the news broke, Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, now exploded. Hashtag Jim Jones cancel started trending within hours. And the memes, oh, they were brutal. One user posted a side-by-side of Jim before and after his son knocked him out, captioning it, "Jim Jones thought he was diaper tough until his son dipped him out the house." Another went even harder, posting a photoshopped image of Jim with his bags packed walking down the street, with the caption, "Live footage of Jim Jones looking for a new place to stay." And the jokes didn't stop there. Somebody dug up old love and hip-hop clips of Chrissy driving jail life for being immature and refusing to commit writing. Chrissy been trying to leave this man for 20 years now. Even his own son is over him. But the absolute worst one, someone actually edited Jim's Wikipedia page. Under personal life, they wrote former rapper and current couch surfing enthusiast. And if that wasn't enough, they changed his occupation to unemployed. I mean, the disrespect was astronomical, but honestly, it didn't stop at just memes, because when something this crazy happens, the internet turns into full investigators. And trust me, they started digging up everything. The past comes back to haunt Jim. If there's one thing about social media, it's that people have receipts. And as soon as Jim got exposed for putting hands on Chrissy, people started pulling up every single problematic thing he's ever done. First, they went after his history of disrespecting Chrissy. Clips from old love and hip-hop episodes resurfaced where Jim dismissed Chrissy's concerns, made jokes at her expense, and treated her like an afterthought. Then they went after his music career. One viral tweet read, "Jim Jones really out here ruining his personal life like he didn't already ruin his rap career." And another one, "Imagine getting kicked out by your son and your last hit was in 2006. Brutal." But then things took a dark turn, because people didn't stop at just jokes and memes. They started demanding real consequences. The fallout, brands and businesses start cutting ties. Now here's where Jim's situation went from embarrassing to financially devastating. See, Jim may not be topping the charts anymore, but he still had business deals, partnerships and brand endorsements keeping him afloat. But once the internet turned on him, all those deals started disappearing fast. First, his clothing brand Vamp Life released a vague but very telling statement. At Vamp Life, we do not condone violence or abuse of any kind. Effective immediately, we will be re-evaluating our relationship with Jim Jones. Translation, they were out, then things got even worse. One of his biggest partnerships, his cannabis brand investment, announced that they were removing his name from their products. In light of recent events, we are making necessary changes to our brand image. Yep, that's corporate speak for we don't want this guy's drama messing with our money. And the final blow, Jim was scheduled to appear at a major hip-hop festival later this year. Guess what? They dropped him. A spokesperson released a short statement saying, "Due to unforeseen circumstances, Jim Jones will no longer be part of our lineup." Unforeseen? Oh no, this was very foreseen. The man got kicked out of his own house on camera. At this point, Jim's career wasn't just struggling, it was on life support. And while all of this was happening, Jim himself was nowhere to be found. Where did Jim Jones go? Here's the thing, when rappers go through scandals, They usually do one of two things: they either double down and fight back, posting rants, threatening lawsuits, and trying to clear their name, or they vanish, disappearing from social media, avoiding the press, and hoping people just move on. Jim, he chose option 2 after getting evicted from his own house. He was radio silent, no Instagram posts, no tweets, no interviews, nothing, and this led to one big question: where the hell did Jim Jones go now? Some sources, aka internet detectives with too much free time, claimed he was staying with a friend in New Jersey. Others speculated that he went back to his mother's house. And let's just say, if that's true, the internet had a field day. One user wrote, Jim Jones really went from ditset to monset. Another one posted, Jim Jones called his mom like, can I sleep on the couch? And she hit him with Ask Chrissy. At this point, Jim was getting roasted from every angle, and while he was in hiding, the people closest to him, they were speaking out. Chrissy finally breaks her silence after days of speculation. Chrissy finally spoke out. She didn't do a dramatic interview. She didn't write a long Instagram post. She simply went on Instagram, poured herself a glass of wine, and said, I told y'all, and that was it. No tears, no long explanations, just pure unbothered energy. And honestly, the internet loved it. One fan commented, Chrissy been trying to warn us about Jim for years, we should have listened. Another wrote, Chrissy looking happier than ever while Jim out here homeless. Karma is real. Meanwhile, Jim's son, he wasn't saying much either, but he did post one thing on his Instagram story, a simple caption that said, had to handle business, no regrets, no apologies, just straight up, I did what I had to do. And that brings us to the big question, what's next for Jim Jones? Because right now he's jobless, homeless probably, and canceled by the internet. But does he have a plan? Can he fix this? Or is this the official end of Jim Jones? Trust me, this story isn't over at this point. Jim Jones had hit rock bottom. His son kicked him out. Chrissy was living her best life. The internet dragged him for filth. His business deals gone. His festival bookings canceled, and worst of all, he was completely silent. No damage control, no PR statements, nothing. But if there's one thing we know about celebrities who get exposed, it's that they always try to make a comeback. Some succeed. Jim Jones, he failed miserably. Let's break down how his attempt at redemption turned into an even bigger disaster. Jim's first move, the weakest apology of all time. After 2 weeks of complete silence, Jim finally reappeared. And what did he do? He posted a Notes app apology. Oh yes, the classic lazy celebrity move. He dropped a blurry screenshot of some text with a black background and captioned it, we all make mistakes. I'm taking time to reflect and grow. Appreciate you'll reflect and grow, sir. You got kicked out of your own house. And the internet, they weren't buying it. One user commented, Jim wrote this in the McDonald's parking lot on free Wi-Fi. Another wrote, not the Notes app apology, with no mention of Chrissy or some boy. Sit down, and sit down he did, because nobody accepted his apology. Chrissy didn't respond. His son ignored him, and his haters, they went, and some people even started a fake petition titled Keep Jim Jones Out the House 2024. Yes, a whole petition. And guess what? It got 50,000 signatures. This was bad, but Jim wasn't ready to give up the YouTube disaster. Jim tries to tell his side after his apology flopped. Jim decided to take control of the narrative. He announced he was doing an exclusive interview on YouTube, and let me tell you, it was a train wreck. Jim sat down looking exhausted and tried to explain what happened. People got it all twisted. I love my family. I made a mistake, but social media blew it out of proportion. Bro, blew it out of proportion. You got kicked out of your own house, caught a beat down from your son, and lost half your career in 2 days. The comment section was brutal. One user wrote, this man trying to gaslight the whole internet. Another said, bro, you didn't make a mistake, you got caught. And the worst one, someone commented, Jim got more excuses than he got hit songs. At this point, it was over. The interview got showed more dislikes than likes, and instead of rebuilding his reputation, he made it even worse. But Jim still thought he could fix things. The podcast meltdown. Jim Jones loses his cool after the YouTube disaster. Jim tried again. This time he went on a hip-hop podcast to explain himself, but instead of fixing his image, he snapped. The host asked him a simple question, Jim, do you regret how you treated Chrissy all these years? And Jim lost it. Man, y'all always want to Bring up the past, I ain't do nothing that bad. People act like I'm the worst dude out here. Oh, it was bad. His voice was shaky. He was clearly angry. And the more he talked, the worse it got. At one point, he even said, yo, acting like I'm some villain. Meanwhile, these other rappers out here doing worse, sir. That's not a defense, that's an admission of guilt. And when the podcast clip hit the internet, it went viral. For Jim should have just stopped, but no, he tried one last move, the ultimate desperation. Jim tries to win Chrissy back with his career in shambles. Jim made one last desperate attempt to fix things. He tried to win Chrissy back, and how did he do it? With a grand romantic gesture. Oh yeah, Jim pulled up to Chrissy's house with flowers, gifts, and a handwritten letter. And guess what? Chrissy didn't even open the door. She posted a picture of the flowers and the trash with the caption, "Too little, too late." And the internet, oh, they loved it. One user tweeted, "Chrissy throwing away those flowers like Jim threw away 20 years of her time." Another wrote, "Not the handwritten letter, bro. Thinks he's in a 9's R&B music video." At this point, it was official. Jim's career dead, his relationship over, his reputation destroyed. And as for what happened next, Jim disappeared. Where's Jim Jones now? After weeks of public humiliation, Jim went ghost. No more interviews, no more tweets, nothing. People started making jokes about where he was. One person posted, "Did Jim Jones spotted working security at Chrissy's new house?" Another said Jim and witness protection from his own career. But the truth, Jim left the industry completely. His music stopped charting, his brand deals never came back, and Chrissy, she moved on. She started dating someone new, a young entrepreneur, a real estate investor, a man who, according to sources, actually knows how to treat her right. And Jim, last we heard, he was trying to start a podcast because of course he is. But let's be real, who's tuning in this, my friends, is what happens when you take a woman for granted and the internet holds you accountable. Jim thought he was untouchable. Turns out he wasn't. And with that, we close the wildest downfall of the year. What do you all think? Did Jim deserve this, or did the internet go too far? Comment below. Let's discuss, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exclusive breakdowns like this one, because you know we keep it real. Stop everything, because this might just be the most insane celebrity meltdown of the year. A legendary rapper, a furious son, and a slap so loud it echoed across the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Jones has officially lost it. Now imagine this, you're in your own home feeling all high and mighty, think you're untouchable. You get into a heated